Hello, we are the Doctors Bjorkman, and this week we're bringing you a special just in real life edition, getting you up to date on our pregnancy number 2.
Also known as a vlog.
Yes, so much like we did with pregnancy number 1 2 years ago, and now that we've gone through our struggles with secondary infertility, IVF, now wanting to keep you up to speed with this second pregnancy.
Yeah, so this week we are so excited to share with you our very first ultrasound, confirmation of pregnancy ultrasound, as well as bringing you along while I kind of struggled to do that SneakPeek test for finding out the sex of the baby early. So we are going to show you all of that right after this.
Yeah, and in case you've never met us before, I'm Kurt. I'm a board-certified pediatrician.
I'm Sarah. I'm a board-certified OBGYN.
And we are the Doctors Bjorkman.
All right, welcome back. So this week, the first thing we want to share is kind of our very first ultrasound. We did this at 6 weeks and 4 days based on my embryo transfer dating.
This is like the confirmation of pregnancy scan.
Making sure that little embryo is growing appropriately in the uterus. This is something very, very common with IVF pregnancies. They tend to check your pregnancy hormone very early in pregnancy after your transfer, and they kind of trend that every 48 hours and then kind of a week later, and then bring you in usually for an early scan in the first around the 6-7 week mark, just to look and make sure everything is growing and going as we would expect it to. This isn't always something that happens if you get pregnant the old-fashioned way. A lot of times you take a home pregnancy test, you find out it's positive, and you call your OB and you say, hey, I'm pregnant. They ask you for, the date of your last period and figure out your due date, and often like to bring you in somewhere between the 8-10-ish week mark to do confirm the pregnancy, do your first prenatal visit, and talk about genetic testing at that point. So you may go for an early scan depending on your history, or if it's an IVF pregnancy, your OB may want you to wait till a little later down the road. Awesome.
And we've talked all about kind of that first prenatal visit before,
Yes.
But would you mind just saying, what are they looking for on this ultrasound, this confirmation?
So on a confirmation of pregnancy ultrasound, we know based on your gestational age. So the length of and gestational age is measured from the first day of the last menstrual period, or IVF transfer date. That's, basically all goes back to calculating off that last menstrual period. And there are certain things we expect to see on ultrasound based on how many weeks along you are. So around 5 or so weeks, we expect to see a gestational sac. And shortly after that, then we see a gestational sac and a yolk sac. Those are the things that come next. And right around that 6.5 week mark, we start to see a fetal pole, or the little tiny peanut that becomes the fetus. As these things come around 6.5 weeks, usually we can see a heartbeat, and there are expected measurements for all of these different things that correlate with your gestational age. So we do those measurements, we look for those things to make sure it lines up with how far along you are. Because if it isn't an IVF pregnancy, sometimes maybe you ovulated earlier or later than you thought. And so we use those early ultrasounds to confirm your dating and establish a firm due date.
Yeah, and for us, since this was an IVF pregnancy, we were very certain of the dates.
Yes.
But we did get a good look at our own little peanut, that fetal pole, and even a Doppler of the heartbeat.
Yes, so.
So also, as we mentioned this week, we're going to share a little bit of our early testing of baby sex. There is a test called the SneakPeek. We talked about this a little bit with our first pregnancy. And actually the technology has maybe improved a little bit.
Now they say that you can do this blood test as early as 6 weeks. And I feel like when I did it with Cease 2 years ago, it said 8 weeks. But anyway, now their website says as you can do it as early as 6 weeks.
Yeah, but you wait until week 7. The biggest issue here is what you're testing for in the test is you're actually looking at mom's blood. And as a part of having a growing baby inside, some of those baby cells actually end up in the circulation of mom in something called fetal DNA. And so what this test is looking for is actually looking for Y chromosomes, which would only be present if it was a male.
Right.
And so with that, the test is looking for some of those cells. The further along you are in pregnancy, then the fetal fraction, or it's just more of baby cells that are in mom's circulation, so it actually improves the sensitivity of the test.
Right.
The other really important thing to note here is that it's really easy to contaminate the test. So if any boys around, so say for instance I was around when Sarah was doing the testing, if any of my little cells got in the test sample, it would then falsely posit it could say falsely that it was a boy because it picked up some of my Y chromosome from my cells when it was really XX girl fractional DNA in mom's circulation.
Yes. So I was very anxious to find out if we were having a boy or girl. And some people want to be surprised and wait till their 20-week ultrasound or wait till the baby's born. I know lots of people who have waited till the baby is born and they say it's just like the greatest surprise. And so
if you can imagine, she's a planner and likes to know things as soon as possible.
Right. So anyway, I thought about, should we try this at 6 weeks? And I read a bunch of reviews on like SneakPeek thing, whatever. And a lot of, there were enough reviews of doing it at 6 weeks who said, you know, I did it at 6 weeks, at 12 weeks, my genetic testing came back, it was wrong. Or at 20 weeks, it was wrong. So I said, maybe 6 weeks is a little early. I did it at 8 last time. Let's try 7.
And that could be like if you test early, it maybe doesn't pick up maybe a boy's Y chromosome and says falsely that it's a girl. Is that probably the most likely instance for that?
That my thought, and I don't for sure know that this is true, but if you don't have a high enough fetal fraction, or if you are less pregnant than you thought, or lots of different things, it might miss that other, because the default for the test, if you know you send your blood, it's going to be XX because your maternal cells are in there, and so they have to have enough of those fetal cells to be able to kind of amplify and see. So 7 weeks, said, ooh, this is good enough, let's try it. And also wanted to surprise Kurt, and so got the test and did it while I was at work. And the first time, so there are different brands other than SneakPeek. This is just like the one I found and we did last time, and it worked and it was correct. So we're like, let's try it again. The first time when you did the blood test, you had to kind of do like a finger prick and like milk your dripping bloody finger into a little tube, and I
heard it was like a blood show.
It wasn't, it was not pretty. So they all now, 2 years later, they have this thing called like a SNAP device where basically they send you everything in the box with like very clear instructions. They also have a YouTube video you can watch on how to do it. But basically what you do is they give you a heat pack, which is interesting that you kind of snap, and you hold this heat pack on your arm, like you do it right here on your shoulder, and you hold it on your arm.
Helps dilate the blood vessels in that area.
Yes. Well, first you scrub it really, really, really good with a brush. And then you put this heat pack on for a few minutes to, again, help dilate the blood vessels, try to get more blood there. And then you wipe it with an alcohol swab and then snap, like put on this device, and it's sticky. The circular device is sticky, so it just sticks there. And then you push, there's like a pushy button snap thing, and you push it and it does this little kind of poke on your arm. Didn't hurt, was super easy. It ended up being this little circular, a round kind of shape. And you hold it on for however long till you watch this. You can see the little container fill up with blood, so you know that you have enough, because you hook on the little canister container that the blood needs to get sent in, and so you just watch it till it gets to the line, you take it off. So I thought it was tremendously easier than the first time. I think the snap device is a little more expensive than the like finger prick, if you're trying to do it by yourself, I thought it was way, way easier. So did that, got it all sent off. It was like, yay, this is going to be here for the weekend. I'm so excited. Kurt has no idea. And then like Friday or Saturday, he looks at me and he's like, what happened to your arm? Because I'm so excited about this surprise. He's like, what is that on your arm? Because it sort of like looks like a cigarette burn, not exactly, but it's just this circular.
Not quite as severe as a burn, but there was definitely like a circular
There's just
mark.
like a little circular
Wheel.
scab thing. And I was like, oh, nothing. Like I just had forgotten about it because it didn't hurt. I didn't notice it.
And of course, like the oh nothing was enough for me initially.
To
And I was
be
like,
like-
okay, whatever. And then like later that day, it dawned on me, and I'm like,
clicked.
oh, I know what that mark's from. I'm finding out what we're having.
Yes. So that was annoying. So if you're trying to do it as a surprise and you do the thing on your arm, make sure you're wearing like longer sleeves when you're around your person, because otherwise that might give it away if they put 2 and 2 together.
So I am at work and just did a little sneak peek to try to have it in time to surprise Kurt this weekend. Here's hoping I didn't screw it up too bad. This time so when we did it with Cease, I used this like little, you had to kind of prick your finger. And this time they have this handy dandy little snap thing that you can do on your arm. And it was so much easier and less of a bloody mess. So highly recommend.
So in preparation for this surprise, I kind of thought like, how am I going to surprise him? How do I want to do this? Do we want to do cupcakes? Do we want to do whatever different things? So what I did...
Big extravagant party.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What I did was I ordered t-shirts, Amazon Prime, for Cease. I ordered a pink one and a blue one because I didn't know what it was, and I sent this test and did like the fast shipping, so I decided kind of last minute to try to pull this big surprise off 3 days later. And so I ordered one of each t-shirt. So my plan was, I'm gonna get this result. We're gonna wake up Sunday morning. I'm gonna send her in her little t-shirt, and it's just gonna be great. Ironically, only one t-shirt arrived. Fortunately, it was the right t-shirt,
one.
lucked out, because I think it was Friday. It must have been Saturday night, Friday night. We were sitting outside by the campfire. It was actually me, Kurt, like my boss, and one other friend. And I get this email from SneakPeek, and I open it and get the results. Because last time we were both surprised.
Yeah.
And so the results had gone to my sister, who then, if you watch that,
We got like
one we
cupcakes
did-
with colored frosting inside.
so she had got all that set up. So that's the other thing. If it's something you want to do, you can put in someone else's email to get the results. If you both want to be surprised to do something, cakes, cupcakes, whatever, it is possible to do that. But this time it came to me. So here I am sitting at a campfire. Kurt's right there. My boss is right here. And I'm just like reading this email. Can't react. Losing it on the inside. Like,
Yeah.
I think I maybe
Was that joy?
texted.
Excitement? She probably told someone else.
I did. I think I texted our stenographer and was like,
Oh.
I think so. Pretty sure.
So this was all just the perfect setup to have this wild party the next
Wild,
day
yes.
with a special guest there to tell me the sex of baby Bjorkman number 2.
What do you have? What kind of shirt do you have? It's a blue shirt.
Can you go hug your dad?
You're gonna have a little brother. I know, you're gonna have to share me.
So in case you missed it, amidst my own blubbering and whispering while reading that card,
was so excited.
baby Bjorkman number 2 is going to be a boy. And so
Send help. I don't know what to do with boys. I had a sister. I was guess I'm going to be a boy mom. So we're so excited. I think Cesa's gonna just love him.
Be the best big sister.
Yeah,
so.
here's hoping. So anyway, send all your tips for being a boy mom. We are so excited to continue sharing pregnancy number 2 with all of you. More great pregnancy and parenting content coming at you in the coming weeks.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
We're doctors.
But not your doctors.
Anything we've said in this video is for education or entertainment purposes only.
It is not medical advice.
Any specific medical questions you have should be directed to your provider.